Today we're going to talk about putters, and specifically how you use a putter to align your ball toward your target, making sure that you hit the best putt possible and taking fewer putts on the golf course. We'll tell you about a putter that aims to help you do just that. I'm Ryan Ballantyne from Golf News Net. Thanks for checking us out. Happy to have you with us. Today we are talking about this putter. We're specifically talking about the Optic Z line of putters. So I've had this in my hands for months now, and it's a mea culpa because I should have done this review sooner. But I've been putting with this for months in anticipation of doing this review for you many months later after having had it. And I've been thinking about how I putt. I like to consider myself a really good putter. I'm a good speed putter. I'm a good lag putter. I get the sense of greens pretty well. And I don't three putt very often because I can read line, speed, and slope pretty well. But I struggle inside of 10 feet at times, particularly inside 7 feet at times. And that's in part because of alignment and in part because just kind of a lack of confidence that hitting the ball straight on the line that I see will actually lead to the ball going into the hole. I know that sounds weird for a closer putt compared to a long putt, but I feel more comfortable over 20 footers going in the hole, even though they go in a lower percentage, than a 7-footer, even if it's straight. For whatever reason, my mind invents breaking, just kind of creates problems. So I have to come up with strategies, mentally speaking, so that I can reassure myself inside that scoring range, I'm going to make this dead in the heart. And interestingly enough, I think that the Optic Z tries to address that in a couple of different ways. So in particular, they have a bunch of different models. In particular, I got the Z9 model. And I got the Z9 model because it reminds me of my gamer putter that I use all the time. And you'll note that it has an elongated flange. And in the back here, it's got basically what amounts to an alignment line. Now, the paint fills come off, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the point of this particular putter model is that it gives you a little bit of extra alignment aid. And I have that in my gamer, and I like it. And then you see on the front, face is milled, and then you can kind of have an idea of, if you look at the shape of it, a little bit of a kind of semi-triangular shape. And then the thing you will obviously notice right here in the middle, it's called the Z neck. So the idea behind this is that the Z neck kind of moves the center of gravity a little bit up. So the idea is to create a little bit more topspin, but also to create a sense of stability. If you've seen TaylorMade truss putters of recent memory, and there have been others who have tried somewhat of this concept, but the idea is that you create a kind of brace effectively here right in the middle, and that basically prevents the face from twisting at impact as much as it might otherwise, particularly if you had a hosel right over here. It's kind of similar in thought maybe to having a center shafted putter, but this idea of having more mass right here being able to help you out. And then the other piece of this is an alignment story. So you've got a couple of different ways to align the putter head. So obviously with this model, the Z9, we've got this extra line, but this line here is on all the putters. Then you've got the neck, right? And you basically need to align this very simply. So because of the way that the hosel sits, it's in front of the face, so you're kind of building in what amounts to a forward press because that's the way that the putter sits. So when people forward press, they're trying to align it straight, take it back straight, hit it straight. And that makes sense because what this putter's trying to do is give you that pre-built in with no matter what your stance is. Now, of course, you can undo that. You could kind of hold it funny and not do it right, and then it would kind of defeat the purpose. But the idea is to set up with the forward press working and that you hide the golf ball. And then you align it by having the toe line with the neck and the neck line with the heel. And then that way you can know that your putter is straight, and then you have to figure out getting it to your target. And that's where, in this case, this model, the line through the ball is your alignment piece. So that part of it is you're kind of making a crosshairs, so to speak. And this is a black putter, black head. So it's got white paint. You can customize your paint fill, but this is a white paint fill. I like that contrast. It's almost the reverse of what you might have seen from Odyssey in years past, is white over black. I have some Versa putters like that with that kind of alignment structure, and I like that. That's a contrast for your eyes, and it's a little bit calming in that sense. All right, look at the white line, and there you go. This is a face balance putter. I am an arc stroke guy, so naturally there's a little bit of fighting here. I think if you have issues with alignment, more often than not, probably face balance is good for you. You want to get to a stroke where you're going to have straight back and straight through. Then you're going to have the confidence that you're actually hitting it on the line that you intended, and therefore you're going to hit it toward the target more often and make more putts. For me, someone who tends to use a more arcing stroke, that can be trouble if you're not confident over the short ones that when you get back to the ball, that it is square and you're not pulling it or pushing it depending on your tendency that day. I do that with manipulation of my grip. So I will actively keep my right hand more engaged in a shorter stroke because that's the control hand. The distant, I mean, for me, the two things that happen in the stroke, and one is courtesy of Billy Casper. One, you always have your left hand pointing towards your target. It doesn't have to be exactly toward it, but parallel to that target. That's kind of your aim hand. And the right hand kind of makes sure the putter gets through the ball at impact and gets it on the path that it's going. So I will let the right hand take more control, have the left hand along for the ride, and then let it rip. And that seems to work for me on short putts. Occasionally, though, I will kind of press it a little bit forward if I feel that that is necessary. But I putt with a putter where I don't have that kind of hosel. So that I don't have the ball hidden. The idea with the Optic Z is that you're taking away that kind of cringy moment of impact if you worry about putting alignment, where you don't have to worry about, oh, it's hitting the ball. And I think that's not necessarily the biggest draw of this putter. The draw is really the idea behind the Z-neck, is the idea that you can take some MOI here, you can move up the CG, so you get a little bit more topspin is the theory, because you're getting into the impact zone instead of a little bit too low with the kind of metal down here in the back flange. And then you're going to have that brace here for your impact, so if you're missing off center, it only twists a little bit instead of a ton, and you get the ball moving. Again, I think anything with a putter, putters are the most personal club in the bag, in my opinion. I know that's not true, but in my opinion, they are the most personal, because everybody putts just a little bit different. Everyone has just a little bit different comfort zone. And with this, not to say that I couldn't use this because I have an arcing stroke. I found myself enjoying using the putter, but it can be difficult if you have an arcing stroke to force yourself into a face balance putter. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it is. I mean, that's what it does, whereas my gamer is more like that a little bit. I like a heavier putter. That's what I do like about this head. It is a little bit heavy. I like a little mass on my putter head. I don't like feeling like it's super light and then having an insert to kind of create feel. I want the feel from the metal. I want the feel from the milled metal. I do like the look of this. Again, I like because it's black and white. I do like the milling pattern, kind of, again, helps it move the ball in toward that top spin. And the idea is that it sort of looks like what you might have seen from Garen Reif, but you try to keep it on line a little bit better. So I also love that the Quad Tour is the stock grip on this. I love the Quad Tour grip. You can't get it everywhere. Usually it's aftermarket, but it's worth looking into putting on your putter. But you're looking at a price tag here, again, with a premium putter in the $350 range. So I think, again, if you're going into the premium putter range, if you are thinking of a putter above $250, and that's kind of the starting point in some Odyssey models, and you're definitely thinking about that in Scotties and others. If you're in that price range, then you need to fall in love with a putter. You need to try it. You need to get fit for it. You need to feel good over it when you're doing it. Your taste's going to change. Your stroke's going to change. All of those things are going to change. But if you're getting into this price range, then I think you need to be able to try this for yourself. Need to have it fit for yourself. And the guys at Optic Z, they're very, very helpful. And they will help you in advance. They will help you through it during the process. And with more customization options now, you can make it look exactly how you want. So this is a good putter. It's a good entry for someone who wants a little bit more stability, but doesn't want to have a huge mallet head, or doesn't want to have just an awkward shape. You can get these in models that maybe are a little bit more classically styled, or something like mine, which is a little bit strange in nature, but this is what I like. So you've got some options for a traditional kind of blade style head that will give you a little bit extra protection. You can do it face balanced if that's your jam, and you can wind up with a putter that will make you feel more confident aligning the ball, and make you more confident in thinking that when you hit the ball, even if you hit it a little offline, it's going to stay pretty straight. I'm Ryan Ballangy saying thanks for watching. We will see you next time.